Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks Some More. So I just want to follow up on the mainstream media not really covering the Freedom March. The very peaceful Freedom March, the one that could possibly be the biggest political demonstration ever in the UK. And if not the biggest for the last 20 years. Like I said yesterday, it wasn't mentioned in the tabloids. I think the only news channel in the UK to cover it was Sky News, who were very negative about it. And even overseas, I don't think it's been reported in other countries, so I've been told. But what I have seen in the mainstream media is the reporting on this Hyde Park situation. All of them managed to report on this. They had no problem doing that. Several times. Hyde Park protest. Police injured as bottles thrown in violent clashes at anti-lockdown rally. Here in the BBC, look, there it is. They managed to report that, and the Mirror, and many other places. 8 police officers were injured and 2 hospitalised after objects were launched at them by anti-lockdown and anti-vaccine passport protesters in Hyde Park. So, yeah, they've got no problem reporting on that. The mainstream media and the government, they must have been secretly wishing something like this could happen. Otherwise, they wouldn't have anything negative to report on, would they? Now, if you recall a while back, there was those masked up Kill the Bill protests. There was one in Bristol where the police vans got set on fire, which turned out, after people checked the reg of them police vans, it turned out they hadn't had an MOT for a long time. Shouldn't even have been on the road, which led to a lot of people saying that they were props. I also recall the police saying at the time that 2 officers received broken bones in that Bristol Kill the Bill protest, which then a few days later the police completely retracted, saying no, they didn't, which is kind of suspicious. And that Bristol incident also got a lot of press attention, and it happened a couple of days after the London protest. Now, if you look at the footage of this Hyde Park event, which I'll stick a link in the video in the description, you can check the video out for yourself and see what you think. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, but to me it looks kind of odd. The movement isn't natural, and in the video there are a fair few comments saying the same. One stating it all looks a bit like a Benny Hill show. Now, I'm not stating that so-and-so is not real and this person is not real. I'm not saying that. For all I know, the police tried starting this to cause trouble to instigate the whole event. And even if there was some form of organisation going on with this, I'm sure there are a lot of people in there that are for real and they're just all getting caught up in the situation. But to me, looking at it as a whole, it all looks unnatural, the movement of the crowds, when you look at it with a sceptical mind. And you must remember, there are organisations that rent out crowds to the government, as this website here. And I do remember, did this not happen exactly the same after the last protest in March? After most people had left, there was a very similar event happen in Hyde Park, and it was exactly the same. You know, a large number of police all surrounded by a group, and yet at the same time, it was pretty much like an empty outside area where there's all this pushing and shoving going on. So look, I'm curious, what do you guys think? After all of this time reporting on this and looking at how duplicit the mainstream media are and the government, you sometimes have to look at what gets featured in the mainstream and what doesn't. And the fact that this massive march to freedom, a very peaceful march with a huge number of people at it, which sends out a very positive message about the movement, it gets completely ignored by the mainstream media, while on the other hand, this scuffle in Hyde Park that looks kind of odd, that gets reported on loads of articles across all platforms, tabloids and TV stations. It just seems to me that the event at Hyde Park is incredibly convenient for the mainstream media and the government to put a negative spin on the day and make the protesters look bad. What do you think? Let us know your thoughts and comments. As always, thanks for listening. Come and subscribe to the tribe at hugotalks.com, trying to build a community of like-minded souls where we focus on what's really going on and try to make sense of it all. See you later.